Joe has a company called Equali, and he also still works at InQuicker, so he's kind of like me. He kills himself doing 2 jobs. I met him at Crema. It's a great coffee shop, and what really, really excited me about our conversation was he loves to talk about ambiguity and how to get rid of it. And I think that is a super important topic for behavioral health. Because there's a lot of ambiguity in this topic. And I was just really excited. I like that there's a huge notes section below his thing on the booklet, because I took a ton of notes during our coffee. So hopefully you'll have the same experience. Welcome to the stage, Joe. Thank you.
Hello, everyone, and thanks for coming. However, I'm running a bit low on time, and I still have over 6,000 tips to go, so if we could, let's begin. Jokes can make your audience more receptive to your message. A nice pause can have a really positive effect. Grammar matters. Effect. Number 4, numbering lists. Got him. Numbering lists helps establish a visual hierarchy. Number 5, font size also helps. Bonus points for accessibility. Number 6, people can only keep track of 3 to 5 things at a time. Crap. Number 7, quit while you're ahead. Number 8, show resolve. Do this, do that. You know what? If you're going to put it on the website, you better make the button blue. No, not that blue. Facebook blue. People love Facebook blue. Put it in italics. You know what? I need it to be in a GIF. I need it to be big, flashing, and on the left side of the page, because nobody looks at the right side of the page. This, that doesn't work anymore. This is still the best way to do that. You need to do more X, less Y, so you can Z. Overwhelming? As marketers, we feel pulled in so many directions. Every day, it feels like there's a new bright, shiny object out there just vying for our attention, another silver bullet that promises to solve all of our problems. And it's this sense of overwhelming ambiguity that can leave us asking questions like, how do I keep up? What does good look like? What's of substance and what's just noise? The internet has changed everything. Provocative, I know. Because of the internet, I know that cats are afraid of cucumbers. I know that Brian from my high school basketball team just had a beautiful baby boy, as evidenced by all 86 adorable pictures on Facebook. And I know that 18-year-old Paige Hunter has prevented no less than 6 suicides by handwriting notes and putting them on a particular bridge in a particular town in England. But instead of going into all the strange and wonderful and curious things about the internet, I just want to focus on 3. Number 1, the availability of information. There's no doubt that we're more informed than ever because of the internet. Number 2, the rise of products and tools. There's more and more coming out every single day. I think as marketers, what are we using? Like on average 10, 12 tools to do our jobs? From social media management to online reputation management to listings to tracking and analytics. The list goes on. And number 3, the rate of change, how we're interacting with each other. And also how we're interacting with companies is on the move. Here's a great illustration that I think does a good job kind of showing just how connected the world has become. This is a time it took certain technologies to reach 50 million users. Telephone, 50 years. TV, 22 years. I'm sensing a trend here. Computers, 14 years. Bonus points for that readability. Yikes. Facebook, 3 years. And lastly, for the most magical week, like a year, was it a year ago? Where you saw someone on the street, and if they had their phone out, you just knew what they were doing. Pokemon Go, 19 days to reach 50 million users. It's incredible. But we've got to keep in mind that consumers experience it too, right? The availability of information. Most mental health information seekers are using the internet to do research. I did some research of my own. I typed it in the Google keyword tool. And I found for searches around depression, anxiety, eating disorder, bipolar disorder, people are typing into Google more than 1.4 million times per month looking for information on these things. And when they even type in searches like how to treat depression or how to treat anxiety, almost instantly 1.3 billion results are being pulled up by Google. It's a lot of information. Number 2, and this one I think deserves a round of applause, right? The rise of products and tools. Funded mental health focused startups are on the rise. In 2009, $50 million in investment. Last year, about $500 million. There's a lot of options out there. There's a lot of choices, right? And lastly, the rate of change. Even how mental health services are delivered is changing. Interesting quote here from Dr. Lou Levy at Teladoc, their CMO. People who are suffering from behavioral health disorders are recognizing that virtual care can often be a highly effective solution. Powerful quote there. So the internet has indeed changed everything. Our day-to-day as marketers, and as consumers, how we research and buy products and services in the mental health care space. In some cases, the internet is the actual place that these services are being delivered. So, what's the most important vehicle connecting us marketers to those shopping for the services we provide? The website, which is on the internet. The website is the foundation for all of your marketing efforts. When it comes to SEO, whether it be local and listings and making sure that people can find you, or content marketing that my new friend Liz here writes so that people can find her company, understand more about her brand, and go through that funnel and hopefully make a phone call. Paid, right? Paid search, PPC, Google Ads, whether it's Bing, Yahoo, or my favorite Yandex. No? DuckDuckGo? No? Okay. Display as well, which are like little billboards on other websites that point back to your website. Social, reputation management on that. We've talked a lot about that today and how important that is. A lot of those platforms are free and they make money with ads and your information. We talked about that today too. Traditional things like trade shows and billboards and print and word of mouth, those things are made more powerful when they're funneling back to your website. But to really illustrate why I believe that the website is the foundation for everything, let me tell you a little bit about a company that I work for called InQuicker. InQuicker is an online healthcare scheduling company. And what we do is we provide health systems patient self-scheduling software that allows them to check in online or book an appointment for emergency room services, urgent care services, doctor's appointments, mammography labs, you name it, book it online. My title at InQuicker is Digital Marketing Service Leader. So my job is to make sure that the bright, shiny object that a health system just bought actually works, right? And to make it work, we really have to focus on how well that tool is implemented on their website. Because the tool itself is really, really simple. This is just a drop-down box where you can select a time that you're interested in checking into the urgent care. And then a go button. When you click check in now, that'll take you to a HIPAA-compliant form that on average takes people about 2 minutes to fill out. Right then and there, someone goes from consumer to patient. I have to deal with a lot of questions around, well, what do we need to do to make this work? What should we be focusing on? What's of substance and what's just noise? Does that sound familiar? So my job is to bring focus on the fundamentals, because health systems don't realize it, and a lot of people don't realize it, that people are on your website, they're shopping for the services that you provide already. And so before moving on to any other forms of marketing or advertising, whether it be print or billboard or radio, we had to make sure that the foundation was set up. So let's talk about a specific example. This is an example where a customer of ours had implemented online scheduling on their website. The thing is, this here that you can kind of see, they put it in the right-hand sidebar of their emergency room services page. Now, what happens to the right-hand sidebar on most websites when you look at that page on a mobile phone? It goes underneath the body content, right? So to find this particular button, you had to scroll 6 or 7 times. Coupled with that, it doesn't say what ERs have this tool, and click here is fairly ambiguous, right? In terms of what's the process that I'm beginning when I click that button. So that month, 26 patients acquired. The next month, we worked closely with them and we said, hey, we got some best practices around placement, around design, around copy. Let's implement those. The very next month, after using that widget that we saw that reduces the amount of clicks to get to that registration form, and by saying explicitly, well, I can't really read that because of black boxes, right? But explicitly what ERs actually have this service, and by putting it in the body of the page, because 80% of people that want to use a tool like InQuicker or Check-In Online for the urgent care or ER service line are on their phones, right? So now you can actually find it. Next month, same website, same page, same tool, same cost of that tool, 80 patients, which made a huge difference, over 3 times as much. The next month, something really, really interesting happened, if you're kind of a marketing nerd like me. The widget broke. Instead of being a drop-down box that you could select a time and click go, it broke because of some CSS or HTML or JavaScript bug. I don't really understand that stuff. My co-founder does, not me. But there's a fail-safe. It turned into a link. So we had really good placement because it was still in the body of the page, and the context and copy surrounding that call to action was still there. But the convenience of the tool broke, and it went into 46, so not the best of the best, and not as bad as it was when we began. So, we know that the convenience of online scheduling can acquire patients that are already shopping your website. And we know that how well those tools are implemented on those pages determines how many people are acquired, how many people use the tool. My customers at the time may not have realized it, but we were going through a little mini version of something called conversion rate optimization. Now, conversion rate optimization is not a new concept, and it's definitely not relevant to just online scheduling tools. In fact, it's most effective when applied holistically across a website. And I don't think many of you would argue that a website can't be tweaked or optimized toward a particular goal. But it would be reasonable for you to ask a question like, well, how do I actually do that, right? How do I optimize a site? But instead of going over 6,732 tactics you can use and apply to your website to acquire more patients with conversion rate optimization, I thought it would be really fun if we do a little something that I call conversion rate de-optimization, or all the things that you shouldn't do. And completely randomly, and not knowing anything about this conference, I decided to pick a random website, a landing page, because I thought it was particularly good. That's why I said it was funny that Aaron helped us convert this Keynote file into a PowerPoint. So, this is a page that I think is well optimized. Let's break it down. On the left side, online reputation impacts revenue. Manage it with our platform. So we have a problem statement, a challenge statement, an opportunity, and then in the same breath we have manage it with our platform, the solution. Also, we have 3 benefit statements. Boost patient acquisition, build loyal patients, create a great brand experience. We have an image here of a person, who's really good at creating a human connection. Humans, right? We also have a clear call to action that says talk to us, a couple form fields, and request a demo. So, what is this page for? Well, I'm fairly certain it's about requesting a demo for an online reputation management platform that helps me build loyal patients, boost patient acquisition, and create a great brand experience. All right, so let's de-optimize it. First things first, let's add a header with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more things that people can click. 6 more distractions to take me away from the goal of requesting a demo. You know what? Let's put it in Comic Sans because, yeah, that's really good. That's a professional-looking thing. Can we go further? I think so. Let's put another button there. On our desktop version landing page, let's put a click to call button because I want it to prompt FaceTime or Google Hangouts. No. You know what? Let's change the value proposition to something vague, just like a brochure. Welcome to Binary Fountain. With our suite of next-gen cutting-edge acquisition and ORM, online reputation management solutions, we take our customers to new heights. Well, that's not the most jargony jargon thing that I've ever heard. I love it. Can we go further? I think we can. All right, let's add some more form fields. Company, let's add company size, huh? How about preferred language? This one here says backup phone number. Do you like olives? I don't, my wife does, but it's for science. You know what, let's change that button text to submit, a delightfully vague verb that doesn't really explain the process that you're beginning. We can go further too, right? Let's name it, fill form. We do not spam. If you want people to think about spam, use the word spam. And my favorite part, this little asterisk. What does this guy mean? Huh? Is there somewhere on this page that's going to say, but only sometimes? Ridiculous. Can we go further? Yeah, we can go further. How about the most popular photo that I've seen in optimizing over 200 health system websites? The stethoscope. Love it. You know what? Let's just get rid of everything, right? How often do you see websites out there that begin with just a photo that has nothing on it, that doesn't add any value, and that they waste their first impression on? A couple people today have talked about somebody making an impression on your brand in a millisecond or two, right? It's not really taking advantage of the real estate. So, I think we were successful. We de-optimized a really good landing page. Austin, thanks for the invite. But I have not yet kept my promise. If you look at the session details, I said that there is something uniquely human that can help you fight this ambiguity, right? So what is that uniquely human thing that cuts through noise that can help us marketers deal with ambiguity in 2018? Empathy. Provocative, I know. Why do I think empathy is so valuable? Well, let's take a look at how we got here. As humans, as marketers, as mental health experts, we live in a world filled to the brim with information. We have an internet that comes with so much possibility, but is so often the cause of us feeling disconnected. The ambiguity of what to do with it all sometimes cause contention between teams, right? can sometimes cause paralysis. That's what it does to me, right? All these big ideas. So many big ideas. And sometimes even apathy, right? Just not caring. We talked about websites and how they are the foundation of a marketing strategy, and how they're an essential part of the patient journey to find our health services. We talked about how they're often overlooked and undervalued, how they remain static in some ways, right? And of course, we talked about conversion rate optimization, which is a great way to provide a better experience that gets more people to convert on your website. So what's empathy's part to play in all of this? It's unchanging. I can't promise that websites are going to stay central to a marketing strategy in the future. I can't promise that something can always be optimized. But I can promise that for as long as humans desire human connection, that empathy is going to play a central role. Because connection, it isn't the internet's job, it's ours. Empathy gives you permission to get out of your own way, right? Empathy, it helps you deal with ambiguity by bringing the focus back to those whom you serve. Empathy is how you connect with people on your website, right? The people that you serve. It's the cornerstone of conversion rate optimization, because when you put yourself in the shoes of someone, you begin to think about what they're bringing to that moment, right? Where did they come from? Where on the internet did they come from? Did they come from an ad? If they came from an ad, right, I probably don't want to take them to a page that has a whole bunch of noise and distraction on there, right? I don't want to add any undue anxiety to what should be a relatively simple process, right? In my time at Quicker, our most popular demographic was the alpha daughter between 26 and 44 years old, who's the main healthcare decision maker for her family and has a really wide sphere of influence, right? And so when we're making these recommendations, and this is why I focus so much on the fundamentals, right? Because it's 4 a.m. and her newborn's crying. She's scared, right? There's no room for confusion. It's not about you. It's not about your company. It's about how your company puts who you serve as the central thing, the central part of your brand story, as the hero. It's not about we're the best, we do this, here's all the value that we have to impart on you. No. You write in a way that resonates with them. So, empathy, I believe it's the best tool that we have to improve, whether that's improving a product or a service, something kind of important like your website, or something really important like the relationship with the girl that you love. But I'm up here getting all choked up. I don't really care that much. But in the interest of being practical, Jason and I, my co-founder, we made you guys a free tool. Because when you get really, really good at something, you start to do it unconsciously. So we kind of sat down and we focused on the fundamentals. And we broke down, what it is we see when we look at a website. And we wanted to make a free tool that could help you get in a mindset of thinking with empathy and determine whether or not your website is ready to convert visitors. Here's what it looks like. I know pictures don't really show up well on this screen, but you can see it's kind of like an assessment. It'll ask you questions. You can check a box and get a little score, find out where you can improve. We designed it really to start conversations. Conversations between you and your team, right? Conversations that include other people at your company, that have unique insights about the people you serve, but maybe otherwise uncomfortable to share their thoughts because they're not a web person, right? They're not techie. They're not a developer or a designer. They feel like they may not have the seat at the table, right? When we have a common vernacular or words to use when describing how something can be improved, right, that can be a really powerful tool to bring people together and provide that insight that we're after. And of course, we also made it to demystify some of the black box mysteriousness around digital marketing. So you can get the full assessment here and start getting more people to convert. Just click that link. I memorized it, bit.ly.2l. I didn't. But it is free. We promise not to spam. I'm kidding. It doesn't even require email. It's just a Google Sheet. But yeah, so a final thought. I am not a mental health expert, but I know that we live in a world that wants us to feel lost and alone. And I know that as marketers, as leaders, as mental health experts, as friends, as family, as husbands and as wives, it's up to us to create an environment where people feel heard, an environment, physical or virtual, right? Where people feel heard, where they feel understood, and where they feel valued for what they can uniquely provide and contribute to this thing called life. Thanks, guys.
Any questions? Anybody? I mean, I feel like that session was nuts. I mean, man, you're a crazy good presenter. It's good following people that are good presenters, isn't it? It's just really fun. Dude, thank you so much. That was incredible. Yeah, I was on the edge of my seat that whole time. So when me and Joe met for coffee, I was like,